and cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability to stand in the king's palace, and who they might teach their learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. This is simply saying they had good brains, they studied hard to have all that knowledge, and they were children whom people liked to be around. But note this, they had ability to stand. Even though the king wanted to teach them the knowledge that was against God, he still expected them to have such a character where they could remain firm, true, and faithful to God, regardless of what others were doing. But do you know that out of this special group of children, the 42,360, who were well trained, had excellent brains, did well in school, and had beautiful characters, only 4 young people actually had the ability to stand firm, true, and faithful to God, while the others followed the Babylonians. Isn't that shocking? Obviously, the education which the other children received, all the fruits of righteousness, wasn't sufficient to enable them to stand firm, true, and faithful to God, even though others would do different. So, who were the faithful 4? Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. What made their education different to that of the other children? They didn't just go through special schooling where they had knowledge from all the different school subjects. They received such a home training that would prepare them to stand firm, true, and faithful to God, regardless of what others were doing. Do you know that there are 2 special words which means what I just said? These are called self-reliance. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were taught self-reliance in the home. In other words, they were taught that God's presence was always with them. So, whatever duties they were given to perform, whatever conversations they were to take part in, and even in their play, they were to do it in a way that would please God. They had to learn to do these things even when mommy or daddy were not watching or hearing them. This constant sense of the presence of God, combined with the prophecies found in the Word of God, caused them to stand firm, true, and faithful to God, regardless of what others were doing. They were self-reliant. Do you think there's a lesson in this for us boys and girls? Definitely. The lesson is that soon we will be tested on whether we will obey God or follow others in their disobedience to God. It is not enough to have a good brain and knowledge of school books. We need to learn now to be faithful to God in our conversation, our play, our work in the home, even when mommy and daddy are not watching or hearing. And to the mommies and daddies listening, I'm just going to read a short quote from Child Guidance, page 555, paragraph 1. Satan is marshalling his hosts, and are we individually prepared for the fearful conflict that is just before us? Are we preparing ourselves and our households to understand the position of our adversaries and their modes of warfare? Are our children forming habits of decision that they may be firm and unyielding in every matter of principle and duty? I pray that we all may understand the signs of the times, and that we may so prepare ourselves and our children that in the time of conflict, God may be our refuge and defense. So in closing, who would like to pray?
When you told you to do something, do it in Jesus' name, amen.